Now let's go to Michael Shure, political correspondent for the Young Turks on Current TV. Michael, let's talk a little bit about yesterday's keynote speeches. I kind of did my instant analysis. I had really the most to say about the Ann Romney speech because that was really about Mitt Romney, whereas the Chris Christie speech was a lot about him getting respect, but I didn't really find him to be talking that much about Mitt Romney. Give me your overview of how you thought the first night of speeches went.
Well, I mean, here's the basic overview. In the hall, it does not feel electric. I asked somebody who I'm working with at Current, who's been to a ton of conventions. It felt to me like this is what the Bob Dole in '96, the Bob Dole convention must have felt like. He said that was even more raucous. I don't know if it was the hangover from the hurricane. I don't know if it was the uncertainty of what's going to happen today, if they were going to suspend. There was talk here of suspending the convention if people needed to go to Hurricane Isaac. I don't know what it was, but there wasn't electricity in the hall. And of course, a lot of people could say, well, it's the candidate. So all these speeches were played to a very sort of somber hall. We heard from people, somebody who I guess is a source inside the planning committee for the convention, that they were told to turn the volume up on all the music, so it was boisterously loud when the music was playing in the hall, just to kind of make it seem more alive. So the speeches themselves, it's not that they fell on deaf ears, but it took a while. The biggest ovation went to Scott Walker when he was introduced. That was topped by Rick Santorum. And to go over the speeches, Rick Santorum's speech, I think, felt like the keynote address to this hall, and Chris Christie's was the keynote to the rest of the country. And that's how they felt. Chris Christie's speech to me was the kickoff of Christie 2016. He had some good singers in there. I thought it was a really professional, well-delivered speech. It is what a keynote speech is going to be. I'm not going to agree with a lot. I think I tweeted that it was a lot of lies, a lot of a lot of misleading in that speech, but it was a professional speech, and that's what I felt. Ann Romney, I don't hear anybody here talking about how this was just a blowaway speech. Do you know anyone, David, who's like talking to a friend and saying, "Oh, I really liked when she said X"? There's nothing that you can cite from anything that was said except Chris Christie's speech. So it was sort of a vanilla, sweet, loving wife speech, and then Romney came out at the end for a really brief interlude with her and with the crowd that, in other years would have gone on much longer. Ovations, come back, don't leave. There was none of that. He was out there for like 11 seconds, then they left.
Yeah, it is strange. The Ann Romney speech, it's funny because I'm surprised. Outside of the convention green zone, so to speak,
yeah.
Before the speech, everybody was saying it's going to be incredible, she's going to be wonderful, it's going to turn everything around, she's going to humanize Mitt Romney, which, by the way, if you're waiting till 6 weeks before the election to humanize the guy, you're probably in trouble. But it was almost like written on the wall, because afterwards on TV and on blogs, etc., they were saying exactly that, which is, Mrs. America, it was incredible, so on and so forth. But I'm curious, was that the attitude inside the convention?
It wasn't here. I mean, everybody, of course, everybody inside the convention and the media halls are the ones that are putting that out, making the statement that this is going to soften the candidate, etc. However, what really showed through was that she gave a speech that, while it was really important and they kept adjusting schedules to make sure it got primetime coverage, it didn't do, according to everyone inside the green zone that you described here, which is accurate, that everybody here didn't feel that there was something magical about it. It was sweet, it was, above criticism, but it was certainly well below adulation. And I think that was the problem with her speech last night. It will be forgotten in the annals of convention speeches, but I think there are going to be clips and quotes from Chris Christie's speech, not from Ann Romney's speech. And yeah, I mean, she seems like a nice woman, but she didn't create a bond between her husband and America last night.
So much like Newt Gingrich said about Mitt Romney, you don't particularly dislike Ann Romney right now.
Right, I don't particularly. No, I have nothing against Ann Romney. I couldn't care less about the first ladies in general. I really couldn't. I mean, I found Barbara Bush annoying during Katrina, but she was well beyond being the first lady at that point. I really couldn't care less. I feel like, obviously we're going to be curious about them. We're going to interview them. People are going to talk to them. We're going to wonder. We're going to have opinions. Women are going to have opinions about them. I could not care less. So, but she does seem like a lovely woman. She's a sincere woman. She's been through a lot with breast cancer and MS and raising 5 boys. And she did it with, in a way that not many Americans can do it, but she did it. And so I couldn't care less about that. But if it was her job to say to America that her husband is more than what we know already, then she didn't do that job last night, in my opinion.
All right, Michael Shure, political correspondent for the Young Turks on Current TV. We're going to watch the speeches tonight, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thanks as always.
All right, David, thanks.